scontesini per Nedved, Pirlo, la conclusione in rete, Andrea Pirlo, un gol pazzesco! Del Piero, gol! Alex Del Piero! Palla di Pogacar, Pogba, rete! Un gol incredibile! Pogba fa esplodere lo Juventus Stadium!
Buongiorno. Come ha detto lei, buongiorno.
Buongiorno indeed, boys and girls. Turin Giants podcast number 277. I can't with this lighting, Zach. If you're watching this on Spotify or YouTube, it's a full-time job. Like once we switch to audio, once we switch to video, the lighting has been a pain in my ass. You don't understand. So I'm just gonna wear it around my neck. I'm sorry. If you guys are watching, please do. Otherwise, to listen to us is Apple Podcasts, whatever Android app you use for your podcast, as well as YouTube. My name is Farhad. I'm the host that loves you most, and we're back for a quick one to talk about Juventus Atalanta. I got my man Zach here. What's up, buddy?
Different game, same result though.
Alessandro Del Piero joining us as well. You can see my breath. Look. Another one, shall we say? Is it getting ridiculous by now? If if you think 13 draws is normal, I guess it's a great season to watch. It's unbelievable, isn't it?
13 draws in the league. That's 15 draws overall if you count Champions League. It's comical at this point. It's almost improbable. But today's draw was a little bit different than a lot of the draws we've been seeing against teams that we should be beating, right? Atalanta was there for the taking, no question, and we're going to talk about that. But much higher standard of competition against a team that's performing, other than their game against Udinese, has been performing really well. And so I think this draw has a little bit different complexion to the other ones from an individual game standpoint. Obviously, it hurts our position in the table. It now gives Fiorentina and Bologna priority on us because both of them have games in hand. And so that hurts, obviously. But from the game itself, there was a lot of good that we saw today from scheme, from individual performances, from Grinta, and that's what I want to focus on today.
Well, let's do it. I'm pulling up some information here from footitalia.com. Let's see what our coach says, shall we? In a post-match interview with Sky Sports, Thiago Motta expressed his mixed feelings about the result. He acknowledged his disappointment of not securing a win, but emphasized that pride in this team's performance. For the result, we are certainly not happy, but there's gratitude for the efforts. Today, they played a fantastic match. It's not today we have been It's not today that we have been delivering great performances. I don't know what that means. These boys give their all in every game. I don't need to repeat the moment we're going through and that we are still experiencing. Yeah, very frustrating. Well, Zach, you are the formation tactics guy. Again, this is I don't know how many formations we've seen this season, but another crazy one with our Swiss Army knife, McKennie playing as a winger, and center backs are scoring goals. Yeah. I don't even know what's going on anymore.
It's the classic 4-2-4-0 formation. We all knew it, right? It was surprising with Nico Gonzalez in the lineup, and considering where McKennie played on the wing last year, that we're seeing a McKennie sort of coup false nine exchange there with Nico out on the wing. And so that kind of threw me for a loop after seeing the team sheet. But I think the team really came into today with a specific game plan that they executed really well. I mean, the first 10, 20 minutes, there was some sloppiness in passing, which was kind of ugly. But for the remainder of the match, predominantly for the following 70 minutes, we executed our counterattacking style, I think, very effectively. We created more chances. I mean, this is the sixth game in a row where we had more shots on goal, more big chances, and more expected goals than our opponent. And I think we saw that on the pitch with 2 chances from McKennie, a chance from Nico Gonzalez, the chance at the end of the game with Yildiz, where we had the goal line clearance from the header from Kalulu, right? We had plenty of chances to secure this game like we have in most of our previous games, and we just couldn't do it today.
What about a goal line clearance from our guy? It had to be. It had to be him.
So Kubid and what was Di Gregorio at the end of the game with that save on Zaniolo. So two big moments on defense, and you're going to need to have those over the course of the game. What I was really hoping for is that we would step up with character after how we played so disciplined. We go up in the 54th minute. I want to see that discipline. I want to see that fight. I want to see us secure the win. Obviously, I would like to get that second goal as well, but to close out the game, and we just couldn't do it again, despite individual defensive efforts like Coop clearance off the line or Di Gregorio save at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the crowd sure didn't want Coop to score, and he did get a chance.
He had a few bites at the apple there. He couldn't bring it home.
You think he was going to celebrate? I wondered that the whole game.
If I had to guess, I'd say no. Despite all of the whistles that he was getting, I think that
trash thrown at him. That
on that corner kick, that was crazy. I don't think he would.
You don't really see. I'm a bad person for saying that, but it's just like I love the old school vial from Italian fans. Of course, don't throw anything heavy. Cups are cool, but yeah, it was a heap of trash when he was delivering a corner kick. Yeah, I don't think he would celebrate either. It just doesn't look like a guy that would spend a lot of good years at Atalanta, but would have been nice. Would have been sweet, especially there was last 2-3 minutes he had a chance, right, to put the game to bed.
I mean, he had a header that Carnesecchi saved. Yeah, the big chance at the end was the Yildiz run through. McKennie dished that beautiful ball in. Yildiz had the chance himself. He had the cross option, and Bangula making the run on the far side, ends up missing the goal, which is a huge bummer. Another series of opportunities, right? I listed a whole bunch of them where we should have scored, and we just didn't. At some point, you can fall one of two ways, right? At some point, we're gonna just, start losing, right? We're playing, we just can't do it. Something breaks, and the team falls apart. I think the flip side of it is we finally starts putting in goals. We can't keep missing these chances forever, right? And I am following more the optimistic side of things, that when you play as well as we have been relative to our competition with over the last 6 games or more,
something's got to give.
Something's got to give, and we're earning, not deserving of wins because we're not winning, but we're earning the right to win these games by outplaying our competition, by creating more chances, by putting more shots on goal. And the team, just like on the defensive side of holding that solitary stupid goal that we're conceding back, our offense also needs to step up and start converting a little bit more.
All right, Zach. So Frederick is not on the podcast, but we talk a lot on through our WhatsApp thread, and he has a beef with our podcast. Well, not as much as him, but his friends. They say we are too lenient. We're not critical enough. That's why I told him, I was like, Frederick, anytime you're on the podcast, be the negative guy, be the guy that demands more. You just mentioned that something's got to give. We are doing okay. We are trying. Are we being too lenient on this team? Because I mean, it's like a norm now. We go up 1 goal, and it's known that it's going to happen.
There's multiple facets to leniency, right? You can say, where are we on the table? Should we be lenient of being, like I said, 5th where now Fiorentina and Bologna have priority over us because of their game in hand, which means we could drop down to seventh, eighth, depending on what like Milan and these other teams do. And I just don't believe in beating the dead horse there, right? We are where we are in the table, and that's not good enough. We've said it on several episodes, and I don't see the reason to say anything more. When you look at individual performances, I think that you need to praise where the team does well with a mind to, and I know that Frederick doesn't like the word project, but with a mind to see how we're growing and developing. There's no point 6 months into a quote unquote project for you to say, well, I mean, some people will say this. I'm not going to say, blow it up, move on. The management has said they're sticking with Mota. So let's talk about what Mota is doing to get these guys to play a certain way. And when you look at our individual performances over the last 6 matches, only 2 wins, but we are outplaying our opponents. When we weren't earlier in the season, we were conceding first, and we would have to rescue a draw. And now, and what rescuing a draw is not is in my opinion more indicative of you not understanding what you should be playing, or you're not coming into games prepared. We talked over and over about teams not preparing or starting slow, Juventus starting slow. We're not seeing that anymore. We're seeing Juventus come in with a game plan, execute their game plan, go up on their opposition. And that's indicative to me of a team that is starting to understand, grasp, and execute what Mota wants them to do. And so in that regard, I do not think we're being lenient when we talk about individual performances like today.
Well, let's take a look at some more quotes from the man himself. Our boys attacked the depth and did not give references. Kalulu scored a great goal with a collective action. We're certainly not happy with the draw. We always want to win, but my obligation is to recognize the performance of the boys. Speaking of Kalulu, man. That was a hell of a run, man. Somebody in one of our threads just, it's like, is Vlahovic taking notes? Like, how how hurtful is this to a center forward to watch your center back do this? Just perfect timing. Kalulu just keeps being the guy this season.
He's had an excellent year. That's why I put him pretty high in my top 5 players of the first half of the season. That run was beautiful. If you go back and look at the replay, I think he almost goes unnoticed. Just how he just you watch the ball right from Locatelli, beautiful left-footed kick in the channel to McKennie, and then all of a sudden the streaking blur, boom, goes by. Kalulu like, making the beautiful.
What is this guy doing here?
And talking about Vlahovic, and we clown on him a little bit, but I think today was a really perfect match for him not to play, based on how much we needed guys like Nico Gonzalez, Yildiz, McKennie to do dirty work, winning ball, doing little interchanges to ensure that we could counter effectively from our deep set. And this game did not suit him. So whether we can say take notes on Kalulu or not, I think when we went into this game, I talked about game plan, kind of sitting deep, and we don't love to see like a Allegri ball style thing, but Hugo and Mota picked a beautiful, I think the perfect team to execute what we saw today, and we did for for the majority of the game, execute that plan to perfection.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, you always talk with Frederick about what's being said in the locker room versus what's being said in the, press conferences. He's basically saying the same thing. It's, I need to recognize the boys. It's a disappointing result, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah,
I have to admit, it is getting a little old with the conferences and with a lot
think
of
about us
pulling for his head now.
Our job is to talk about the games, and we have to talk about draws every game. It's hard to come up with something new, right? It's the same result. So it's in interest of speaking new and taking maybe Frederick's lenient friends are not happy with this, but I want to take a positive spin on this, because I think we really should maybe take a note out of what Mota was saying, is applaud some players who showed a true desire to win, to seize this game, to try to solidify it. And I think there were a few players in my mind that stood out today as really just playing their heart out, such that they were just visibly exhausted.
Who are the men that deserve the bell?
I got 4 of them for you. And I don't know if that's too many or too little, but we're going to hit it real quick. McKennie worked his tail off all game, had a couple chances, had the assist. Kalulu worked his tail off all game, was sturdy in defense, despite almost being a culprit on 1 goal, but it didn't. So I give him a pass and scoring the goal beautifully. 3, Nico Gonzalez. He looked tired in like the 55th minute, but kept running as long as he could, doing beautifully in link-up play and moving all over the pitch. And lastly, Locatelli. Every time. I was
going to guess Di Gregorio. Come on. How do you not give the El Tigre?
No, look, he did his job, right? But Locatelli, every time he got on the ball, you saw these great runs into the channel from guys like McKennie and guys like Nico Gonzalez. And he was such an important deep-lying a player for our more direct counter-attacking approach. And so I really thought that, I called out Locatelli an episode or 2 ago saying that he's the guy I'm looking to maybe first and foremost to be that leader on the pitch. And I think today with his performance, with his passing, with his tackling, with his positioning, he really showed the fire for as long as he was in the game, because he obviously got subbed off late, that I was looking for. These are the 4, not to say that other people weren't good. Thuram had a good game. Di Gregorio had a good game. But these 4, I think, exhibited in their gameplay not only sort of excellence, but also the type of grinta that we want in Juventus players.
Yeah, certainly. Like you said, we're down to discussing all these draws. So let's break. The draws have certain vibe to them as well. Like this was a hard-fought draw away in enemy territory, certainly a difficult place to play. There's a question on Paramount Plus after the game. Someone asked, who should be more happy with the draw? I thought it was kind of an interesting question.
I think that's clear.
Of course, we're not happy with the draw as fans, but as a team, taking into consideration the table and taking away 2 points from one of the leaders is it's not a bad thing.
No,
that's another draw. That's another draw away from home, right? So it gives us a chance to kind of make up for it when we play them at home.
It was a very watchable game. Early on, I was like, what are we doing? We're set way too deep. We were a little sloppy in the ball. Cambiasso McKennie, too, started the game kind of cold. But, for the overall majority of that game, it was very watchable. But I think the answer to that question is obvious. Who's happier? Atalanta's happier. They did not play better than Juventus. They escaped with a point. We should be way more disappointed. Screw the table. Obviously, that we've talked about that. But in the game performance, we got to start winning the games where we're better than the opposition, and we didn't do that today. So we should absolutely be pissed off as players in that locker room about not coming away with a win when you outplay the competition.
We kind of glazed over the Yildiz miss at the end. I don't think that's excusable. I think that's the first time that we can actually say that Yildiz did something wrong. He's such a player, such a joy to watch, but not giving the ball to Mbangula, especially in that part of the game, and going for it. It's an outswinger. It was kind of a weird shot. I think it slightly touched the ground. Mbangula running all by himself in the center would have been a tap-in for him. Yeah.
It's hard to swallow. I think. Yeah, I'm not going to go too hard on Yildiz on this. He made the wrong choice.
Yeah. So let's
95 minutes into a game where he was running. I mean, he wasn't in my 4 top performers. He had a good game though. Running for 97 minutes, sprinting
you think that's
down.
Tiring?
Please, these guys are gassed, right? They're gassed. He wants to be the hero. He's a young kid.
That's
it's a maturity thing, right? It's a maturity thing. And on the flip side, you have McKennie has shown in his time at Juventus, he'll get a ball like that and he'll always look to square it.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yeah.
I think that's a different mindset. We've been asking for players that have more of a killer mindset where we, will dominate possession or whatever it is, but we don't put a lot of shots on goal or whatever. Well, he showed that he wants to, when the game's on the line, put the team on his back. Did he make the wrong decision? Yes, right? but that'll come with maturity. And I appreciate his cojones, his balls, to say, hey, I'm going to put the team on my back, just like he did against Inter to get us back in. I think in the long term, over the course of his career, that's going to be a bonus for him. And it's going to be something that I think you and I are going to be talking about for years to come as such a positive contribution to our team.
So, speaking of rating players, let's take a look at FOTMob. Yildiz with 7.0. Oh, my favorite game. Who gets the lowest point and the highest point? Unless you already saw it.
No, I think I would give the lowest to, and I look, I always take the positive side, so people are gonna be pissed at me for always being Mr. Positive. But yeah, I don't want to go on Savona too hard. He's a kid, but I think it was Savona because
yes, you are correct. FOTMob rated him at 6.7,
and he made the number one error for a defender, and that is let your guy step in front of you. It was poor balance from him trying to adjust he's a big kid, trying to adjust his balance to get, pick a play on the ball. Retegui did exactly what a poacher should do, and Savona got beat. And other than that, he didn't really positively impact the game very much. So he would have to be my lowest score performer.
And you guessed correctly. Retegui, it doesn't score since November. All of a sudden, against Juve, scores a.
Well, he didn't play much, has he? He hasn't really played much since then. I think he's had some injuries. Was going on.
I just heard that on a commentary from a commentator. Who gets the highest point? Highest score? Would you say?
It has to be Mac or McKennie. It's easy. It's quicker to say Mac, but McKennie.
You guess both of them. You win absolutely nothing. But good job, buddy. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So McKennie with 8.2. That's pretty high. Well, actually, you know what's funny? They gave him a little star next to it and painted him blue. But Kalulu got 8.2 as well.
Well, Kalulu got the goal. Kalulu got the goal, and goals in these rating websites always get a whole bunch of points. McKennie had the assist. He had an almost assist on Yildiz on was it Yildiz late in the game? Yeah, it was Yildiz when Yildiz didn't pass it. He also had almost 2 goals. McKennie. He had both efforts should have been done better. He had sort of a curler effort in the first half that was pretty tame, and then the second half he tried to go low and away from the keeper and ended up putting it right into Carnesecchi. So from his offensive contributions, he was very present and effective, moving the ball forward for us. Did not display the finishing touch that we needed to get the win, which is kind of a bummer. But because of those contributions, I'm not surprised he's rated at first.
If you look at FOTMob,
we're tied for first.
If you look at FOTMob, the players are in little circles, and Kalulu's head is perfectly surrounds the circle. Every time I look at him, I love so much how big his head is, how perfectly round it is. But yeah, let's take a look at the table here, if you don't mind. I don't know where I put my. Do you have it handy?
Yeah, we're 5th with 34 points, 2 points behind Lazio. And I think, while we often focus on who's ahead of us so that we can overtake them, 2 points behind Lazio. Lazio will drop points. They've lost 2 of their last 5, so they've been a little shaky. I think what we have to focus in on is less Lazio, who's been stumbling a bit, but Fiorentina, who's behind us, who is in and maybe Milan, well, no, it's not Milan, really. I mean, Milan could tie us in points, but they have a much worse goal differential. Fiorentina's 2 points behind with a game in hand, but they've lost 4 out of 5. So they're in free fall right now. Still could get ahead of us, but they're going to be dropping points. And Bologna, believe it or not, has 2 games in hand and are 5 points behind us. So if they win both of those, they would leapfrog us. So if Fiorentina and Bologna win their games in hand, we drop down to 7th, which obviously would be really poor, but maybe representative of where we are right now. I think, like I said, if we start to if we finally break through this weird scoring woe of underperforming our XG, which is a metric I don't entirely love, but I think y'all understand where I'm coming from, then we'll turn this around.
So let's finish up with quotes from our coach. The coach also discussed player Yildiz versatility during matches, stating, Yildiz, his position can change even during the game. He knows what he has to do. The right spirit is something we always have, not just today. We're not happy with the draw, even though we delivered this performance. Concluding his remarks, Mota addressed questions regarding the transfer market. I don't talk about the market. Dusan is recovering, and I hope he can do it already from next time. He has some discomfort, and we will see in these days to understand if we can count on him for the next match.
Next match being Milan, who lost Pulisic today to injury, and I believe Morata's going to be unavailable due to suspension. So it's
absolutely right. 5 yellow cards, and you get suspended. And, the boy didn't want to play against us. Something about it. Let's see matches.
But that's another winnable game. I mean, when you asked me how we were going to do over the next 3 games, what we did at Atalanta, it was Milan, and I forget the third one. I forget the third one.
Yeah,
I said 5. I think this Atalanta team was there for the taking. I think we proved that today. This Milan team equally so. Since we lost to them in the Super Cup, they have not played well. They barely scratched together a comeback victory against Como today, after drawing the previous game. I hope we go in with that with fire, looking for revenge, and really putting all this draw nonsense to bed with a win.
Yeah.
And I think we absolutely could do that at home. I think that'd be a good opportunity for the boys to give themselves a little relief from the draws. I bet they're sick of it as much as we are.
Very important not to lose any players to injuries. The game against Milan is on Saturday, the 18th. Excuse me, and then we play. How did Frederick tell me to pronounce the club?
Brugge. Yeah, I think it's Brugge, something like that. I'm the wrong person to ask.
I love his accent.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. I love when people pronounce stuff in their native language. I'm such a sucker for it. But yeah, anyways, Club Brugge, we're playing away on the 21st. It would absolutely suck to get a couple of people injured. Hopefully, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. Not too bad for a quick podcast, right? Anything else to add? We've gone with 27 minutes. We can certainly go over some other news, but as far as the game against Atalanta goes, any last remarks, Zach?
No, I think we hit it pretty good. I mean, y'all can hear we're not really going through the matches as much when the results are the same. We're trying to highlight different players and do different things. So I think we did that today. And look, if y'all want us to touch on something specifically, hit us up on Instagram. We're all real active. Our Turin Giants, me, he'll send me stuff too. You can reach out to me on Instagram as well. We love hearing getting questions and hearing back from y'all. So let us know what you want to hear, as we're in store for 18 more draws. So give us some ideas.
Well, you're tagged in the video, so I encourage you guys. We've had dude. Let me tell you. I posted a Del Piero reel maybe 2 weeks ago. The sucker has 2.2 million views now. And we just saw a huge amount of new followers. So I'm encouraging you guys to subscribe, to join us on Instagram, and just join the huge wave of people. Literally, like, we got hundreds of new followers over a viral reel. You never know. We also have reels that are dictated by Zach himself, and we all try to participate. And very important, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Turin Giants official. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention a done deal as far as transfers. Kolo Muani to Juventus on loan for the remainder of the season. Juventus have agreed a deal to sign Randall Kolo Muani. I like saying that name. Marking the French striker as a second acquisition of the January transfer window, following right back Alberto Costa. Club sporting director Cristiano Giuntoli has made significant strides in the negotiations with Paris Saint-Germain, successfully obtaining approval for a loan deal and securing Kolo Muani's agreement to join. I like the way Giuntoli does the business. Quick. There's no sagas. I hate transfer sagas.
You say that, but wasn't Coop Miners a transfer saga? I mean,
and I hated every second of it.
Yeah, but that was Juntali, you know.
I know, that's true. It's a hate crime where I hated it. Okay, was it part from The Office? But yeah, no, you're right.
Look, a dry loan with a guy who wants minutes is not surprising that went quickly. Okay, my understanding is the Colomani deal is no buy option, so a dry loan guy wants minutes. We need a striker. Now I don't know how he plays, so I can't tell you if he's a good fit for us. But that seems just on paper to be a smooth deal. And then securing Alberto Costa for money similar to like the Cabal deal to give us some reinforcement at right back, I think was maybe some shrewd business. I guess we'll find out when he starts playing.
Let's see I'm sorry to interrupt. Let's see the details of the deal. Colomani, who's currently under contract with PSG until 2028, will join Juventus on a dry loan without an option to buy. Initially, PSG had sought to include a purchase option set at 50 million. Okay, good luck, buddy. But Juntali has managed to negotiate the terms that favor a straightforward loan agreement. A lot of people are saying he's going to chill in Turin, get his steps in and then go back. You cannot please everyone. People are saying, you need players that you need to attract loan players that know they might be bought. So I don't know. You give us your opinion on the on the deal.
Obviously,
I was talking to the listeners. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think any athlete, any competitor wants game time to show what they're made of, whether it's to their parent club or whether it's to their loaning club. And so, if Colomani comes in with that competitor mindset, it shouldn't matter whether it's a dry loan or not, come in to prove himself because it's only going to benefit him in his career. Him coming here and riding the bench does him no favors, right? So I'd like to see him coming here with some energy.
Why call it a favor there? I mean, it's weird, but like, why a player loses favor at PSG? Like, why are we signing these guys? But I may be just, I may not know anything. I barely have time to watch Juve, let alone PSG. I don't know what went wrong for him there. Hopefully it's a good deal. Hopefully it's a good sign that he didn't get many minutes. So, like you said, it's time for him to prove himself. I like me a French striker at Juve, not going to lie. You hear me? You there?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. All right, Zach. I think we've covered the game. As far as a draw goes, I think 33 minutes is nice to dedicate to another draw. It's unbelievable. 13 draws. It's what are you gonna do at this point? You used a great word, comical. At this point, it's let's see. With the games of the teams that are below us, let's see what kind of position we're in. What all the games are even, and we're flipping and flopping back and forth. Alessandro Belpiero is here, saying goodbye to all of you. Zach, thank you so much for joining me. It was a
as always,
quick one, just two of us. Boys and girls, please subscribe on all podcast platforms, including YouTube. Also at Turin Giants on Instagram. I just posted a thread of photos dedicated to Mandzukic. Just I was preparing it in the morning. It's just reminiscing about the Warrior, and he's going to be actually one of the players that I know. I've been saying that for weeks now. I am preparing a top 25 list of players. No, list of players. 25 top. 25
Start
players,
again.
25 best players to play for Juve that were signed after year 2000. So obviously there will not be Del Piero in there or Zidane, but it's going to be a good list, and Mandzukic is going to be one of them. That's why I was preparing the studio today for good lighting, because I finally need to make videos on YouTube and preparing the studio a little bit. So Mandzukic, go check it out. A lot of people are leaving messages that we need him. We could have used him right now. So this is for Mario. Zach, everybody, listeners, we love you. Go check on your friends. Make sure to stay hydrated, and Forza Juve. Yeah, I didn't prepare the outro. All right, let's use a old school one. Let's go.
In the middle of a railroad track, looked around and I knew there was no turning back. My mind raced and I thought, what could I do? And I knew there was no help from you. Sound of the drums beating my heart. The thunder of guns tore me apart. You've been thunderstruck. Went down the highway, broke the limits, we hit the town. Went through the Texas, yeah, Texas, and we had some fun. We met some girls, some dancers who gave a good time. Broke all the rules, played all the fools. Yeah,
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey,
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.